The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the Upmarket studio at Gasworks in beautiful San Buenaventura, California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I am the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media. Oh, Mark Corcoran, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here, man.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay. All right. That's good. You're actually not going to be here for the full episode, but you might intersperse in a little bit. But
I got a busy day shooting, but I'm here for the intro.
Of course, yeah. So Mark was so kind to drop in here and be here for the intro because he hasn't been on in a few episodes. And you know who else hasn't been on in a few episodes? Mm-hmm. Producer Chelsea Froelich.
Hello.
Chelsea, hello.
I'm here.
Oh, it's good to see you back at the controls. Such a relief. How are we all doing?
Good.
Yeah.
How are we looking? How are we sounding?
That's not about that. I mean, we all have our issues with how we look and how we sound, but, we're just a quick update before we start. We're really Upmarket Media. We've been doing this branding photography stuff. We have some new developments there and it's really exciting. Hopefully our next episode might be about that, right, Chelsea?
I think so.
How's it going? It's only
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Everything's going very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're moving past the let's figure this out. Let's do it. We're actually doing it now and it feels really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, lots to
We're
update you on
action.
That. Yes, taking action. Oh, good. Yes, action. Well, and I'm getting excited because what's coming up is we're getting close now. It's PMRE. Chelsea is excited because Mark and I will both be out of town and she won't have to deal with us face to face. And
she's less bosses to worry about.
Because she's not going. We decided we're bringing Nikki though. Nikki's coming.
Yeah, she's way excited. She's more excited than us, I think.
Yeah. Well, she's an excitable person.
True.
So anyway, we're going to be there and PMRE is coming up, but guess what? It's November 13th through 15th, but there's still availability. You can still get a ticket. So if you want to get a ticket, and I highly advise that you do, you can use the code Upmarket 100 and you're going to get $100 off in-person attendance at PMRE in Las Vegas. And PMRE, that's the photography and media for real estate conference, right? I always just say PMRE. You just gotta explain it a little bit. If you can't make it, we're less than a month away. So I understand if you're not gonna be able to get out there in time or make the plans. They also offer a streaming option, a live stream, and a playback on demand. And you can also use the code Upmarket75 for that, and you're going to get $75 off that. So don't try the Upmarket 100 code. That's only going to work on in person. You get an extra 25 off if you fly out to Las Vegas.
That's a heck of a deal. I mean, come on. I
think so. And Mark and I will both be there. And so, and it'll be great because you can talk to Mark. He's very knowledgeable about things. I don't, maybe
you'll be at the bar or
I'll be at the bar.
Craps table.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm more of a blackjack guy. But
I know.
Yeah. And penny slots.
Oh yeah.
I love penny slots.
We hit that last year. That was fun.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I also want to make sure that we thank iGUIDE because this is a Road to PMRE episode. And you guys are usually not on these. So this is kind
of fun. Yeah. It's been fun listening to those. It's been a great partnership. And it's been.
Yeah. And so iGUIDE, if you want to go to goiguide.com, you can check out everything that they have to offer. And it has been a wonderful partnership with them. And we're excited to hang out with the iGUIDE crew in Las Vegas as well. So, all right, we're going to go. I'm interviewing one of the speakers at PMRE, but Mark, Chelsea, thanks for being here.
Of course.
Yeah. Fun to be back.
All right. And one of the presenters that I'm actually most excited about at PMRE is with me today. It is Jenna Gajdusek of AI for the CEO of AI for interior designers. And Jenna, AI is definitely something that has been on probably all of our minds. We've had a couple podcasts about it already this year. And I'm going to ask you the question that has been resonating for, I think, a lot of us is is AI coming for our jobs?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay.
So we'll see, but I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I've always, we think, someone has to go to the house and capture it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's, as a real estate photographer, I feel like we're a little bit, we have a pathway. So I don't know, the technology change is coming, but so I think your take on AI is that we shouldn't be scared of it, right? We should kind of embrace it. So can you tell me through the lens of a real estate photographer, kind of what you're feeling like we can use AI for?
So first of all, hey, welcome. All right, I appreciate you being. I'm used to hosting my own podcast, so I'm like, hey, welcome.
Okay, we'll plug that later, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. But I am not a photographer. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know exactly what you guys are doing, okay, in the world of photography. But what I do know is how we can use AI on the back end to market, to work more efficiently, and to just do all the back end business stuff that we're either not good at or don't have time to do. So there's a lot of crossover between AI and interior design world and what you all are doing in the photography space to run a more efficient business. And that's what I focus on.
Okay, so kind of the stuff that you're talking about could be applicable to any many types of businesses, and obviously interior design and real estate photography are kind of tangentially we're connected in a certain way. What are we using to do this? Are we using ChatGPT, or is there other stuff that is better? I mean, I don't really know that much about the AI world.
Yeah. So primarily I'm using ChatGPT Pro right now. The free version is not worth it. Pro, $20 a month. It's worth the expense.
Okay. So the free version isn't even worth it being free. Okay, got it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to do some of the stuff that I'll tell you about later on the free version. So it's definitely worth the $20 investment every month to upgrade.
Okay.
But ChatGPT for me is like the primary right now for large language models, or LLMs, if you've heard that term before. So there's other ones out there. Google's out there with their Gemini, formerly Bard. We got Perplexity, and I think you already spoke to Jamie about that briefly on that podcast too. But that's more of like a research model. So they all kind of have their own use case. Also, Perplexity uses ChatGPT and other models to collect information. So yeah, ChatGPT is definitely the top runner right now, but there's other contenders out there that are also helpful.
Okay. And so I was talking to someone else a while back, and he was telling me about, I do this and I do that. And then you just make your own GPT, and I'm like, I don't even understand what he's talking about. So we go into ChatGPT, and then you can make your own GPT. What the hell is a GPT anyway?
Yeah. So generative pre-trained transformer is what that stands for. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a techie and I am building all these things. I am simplifying this for you guys.
That's fine. That's fine. We're in the same boat, so don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So what I use ChatGPT for is literally building custom GPTs that serve me in my business. So that's why I say upgrade to Pro, because you can do it with Pro.
Okay. So what do you mean you make your own GPT?
Yeah. So within a matter of like 5 minutes or less, you can literally go inside of ChatGPT and you can build a custom GPT. And so what those do are basically you train them on your brand information, your tasks, your style of writing, and then what you want it to do for you. So you give it a list of instructions, and then every time you open that custom GPT versus just opening the ChatGPT app and having a really long conversation where you have to keep programming it, if you're using one of these custom GPTs that you built, it already knows what you expect when you ask a question and then how to reply to that question because you've trained it.
Okay. So give me an example of that, can you?
I sure can. So I've got a ton of these. One of my first ones that I built this year was my hashtag guru. And I challenged myself to post on Instagram every single day for the year of 2024. So in order for me to stay consistent, I needed somebody to help me with the alt text, so the text that goes behind the images, and writing hashtags that are relevant to the image that it sees. So I built a custom GPT that when I upload the picture that I'm going to be sharing that day, it knows that it needs to give me 30 relevant hashtags, alt text, and then a starting caption in a copy paste format. And that's it. I don't have a conversation with it. I upload a picture and it knows what to do immediately.
So you do that, but do you put the image in, and does it custom to that image?
It does. So it can read what it sees in pictures, and it can also extract text from pictures.
Okay.
But it's reading what it's seeing in that image, and then it's deciphering that and then giving relevant hashtags. I've also given it a list of hashtags that I like to use when I programmed it.
Okay. And so this is social. So I'm imagine, you can do this for whatever, your newsletters, blog posts, right? I mean, any kind of,
Yes.
any writing, okay. And and does this get automated at all, or you still have to go in there and do it?
Well, you can technically, but it would include like using other programs and then connecting APIs and stuff. So what I do is I just go in, open that GPT, upload the picture, and then done. Results are right there.
And it's basically instantaneous.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then, okay. So it sounds like it can do a lot of writing for us, right? And that's kind of the first thing that AI was really thought of, right? Is it's generating all this text. Well, what other things in our business are we approaching? Can AI help us with?
I mean, so many different things. So I have, like I said, a ton of different GPTs. So like I have one that helps me write proposals. I have one that helps me with a design assistant. So in the interior design space, it's helping me onboard new clients, create client profiles, and then take that information and go, and write other things and create presentations and whatnot. But because these are large language models, they were trained on languages, right? They read a ton of stuff on the internet and then tried to speak like humans. That's in a nutshell what these programs are doing. So if you take transcripts from conversations, like if you were to upload this transcript from, our conversation today into, maybe you write a podcast or you create a podcast GPT for yourself, you can then take our transcript and say, okay, summarize this, write a blog post about this, create relevant YouTube tags for what we're talking about here. Those are just a few ways that I use it personally.
So when it is spitting all this stuff out for you, how much more work do you have to do on it, right? Because I'm assuming that it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah, so everything's a conversation. You never take the first reply. I mean, that one I do with the hashtags, because that's literally it. But if I was writing a blog post, it's never perfect the first time. So I'm like, okay, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. And you have a conversation. But then I'm also taking that final, let's say it's a blog post. I'm taking that final blog and I am putting it into my own words, and I am writing it outside of ChatGPT and making sure that it's exactly how I want it to sound. The information is accurate. And at the end, before I actually post it, I'll say, this was AI generated and then edited by, and then I'll write my name.
Okay. So you actually say that on your blog posts? I
disclose every single time I use AI.
So do you, in every Instagram post then? You disclose
when I use AI, yep. When I use AI, I do. There's a toggle button.
How important do you think that is to label? Okay. Yeah. And why?
Right now it's the Wild West when it comes to the ethics. We haven't seen a lot of legislature come through because it's happening so quickly. So I think next year there's going to be a lot more, just stuff put in place, and then a lot more just legal issues for some people that are going to come to be, and we're going to learn from those. So I like to just follow the golden rule. And if somebody were to do this and I wouldn't like it, same thing.
Sure.
So I always disclose, I always teach in every single conversation, just ethical guidelines,
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the thing that gives me the heebie-jeebies about all this stuff, is really the ethics of it. And because, as everyone who listens to this knows, I'm a highly, highly ethical person. And it just feels, something about it feels off. Right. And but at the same time, I'm also like, wow, this seems amazing. And it's like, wow, it can make our business more efficient. And like, I get, because I tend to think too, is like every time we're using it to, do a task that we would have paid someone else to do. Basically, tech just stole that person's job, right? And it's just like we made it. And again, I don't expect you to have the answer, and I'm not. It's just like these are the things that I kind of there is somewhat of a moral dilemma. And no, if it summarizes the podcast for me, which is something that I freaking do, and it sucks, then that's just making my life better because I'm not paying someone else to do it. But it does, it does, and then especially, as we're looking in the visual creative worlds and I know in film and all that stuff where, it's basically just like stealing imagery and just reproducing it. It's like, I don't know, it's just a little dodgy. But I feel like with business efficiencies, that's where like I'm a little less concerned about those ethics, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I am cautiously optimistic about everything in this space, and I'm trying to be honest, as much as I possibly can, where I see both sides of it as like, this could harm us if you do it this way, but if you do it and you do it properly, hopefully it won't. But to your point as to like, is it going to take our job? I build custom GPTs for my assistant so that he can run these things through my GPT so that he can do the recaps for my podcast and the blogs after I produce them. So he's actually utilizing ChatGPT in a way that I built it for him, and it's freeing up my time and it's still providing him with a job.
Well, yeah, and it's making his job more efficient, right? So,
and how I want it.
Yeah, right. Well, because that's always the problem, right? Is we always want it a certain way, and everyone does it a little differently, and it's not necessarily better or worse. It's just not exactly how you want it. What other outside of writing, like what other efficiencies are you able to accomplish with AI?
So in the interior design space, I do a lot of like preliminary design concepts, but they're not real world, right? So we have to think if we're using a generative AI program like Midjourney, Visual Electric, or something that's Stable Diffusion based, where it's basically taking the lines of an image, you might be using this for virtual staging with an empty room. It's not real life, and they are purely visual communication tools for interior design professionals and related industries, but it still takes a person to execute it. They're glorified Pinterest boards in the end. And we still need to be here as a human to put our personal touch on it and bring it into the real world.
Yeah. Well, and I think some of the imagery is coming. And I just recently saw Brandon Barre, who's speaking on day 3 at PMRE. He posted someone had made basically his still images, made them move. So they kind of like pushed in like a really slow dolly or something. And the camera would have been the equivalent of moving 2 or 3 feet, but they did that from a still image. And so it keeps, and it keeps all his lighting and all his, they're these beautiful hospitality images, but they look like now like video shots. And like, it's kind of extraordinary, but I do see an ethical dilemma there in that, if we are doing that in the real estate world, if you make your camera pan around and it goes around a chair, well, the AI literally does not know what's behind that chair. It's just like generating something, right? And if we're doing we have to have truth in advertising as we're like when you say, oh, this is AI generated, you would have to put that on your stuff. And I don't know that the MLS would like that. So, if we want to take it to, our dilemmas, but that's, I don't think that's quite what we're talking about here, but I think it can get tricky when you are using the generative stuff. And so I can see, stuff like virtual staging. That does make sense for us. Are there any other specific things that you've thought of in the generative space for the real estate photography industry?
So I'm just going to go back to 2 points that you just made right there, because that's kind of with that. So it sounds like they either use Luma AI or Runway AI to be, and there's others out there. There's tons of them, but those are the 2 that I explore to actually turn my images into those like moving things. And you're exactly right. It fills in the blanks when it turns a corner and it's not right. So one of my ethical boundaries is I only use my own work. I do not take other designers' work. I do not take other images that I found on the internet, because I have full control over them. And I would hate if somebody else did that to me, to take my own images.
Sure.
So there's this part of like, do what you want to, like as others should to you. So with that being said, if you're going to be creating these images, in the videos, what's the use case? Is it to promote yourself? Is it to get new clients? And are you being honest through and through about what you just produced? Now, there's a really great way for us to be able to use the videos and, voiceovers, making people like talk and like have really cool conversations that you can edit down in like 5 to 10 second little clips and then create longer videos out of it. That's exciting for me, but it's also like, because it saves time and I don't have to hire somebody to create these little videos for me, but it's like, where's the boundary of reality? We always have to be considering that.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, none of us know, right? I mean, that's the thing is this is ultimately it's even someone like clearly you have thought about all this a lot and you know a ton about this, but it still is like, where is the line? And ultimately there is going to be, I mean, there's just going to be lawsuits and then it'll get settled and then we'll figure out where the line is, I suppose. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I don't want to be a part of any of those. So, unless it's standing up for the people, I'll do that. But then it goes back to my question. Is there anything else that you've thought of in the generative space for real estate photographers?
Yeah. I mean, you can do a lot of photo editing afterwards. So like filling in where you might have flowers that weren't on a kitchen island and you really wanted them there, or something was like dying in your photos and you need to touch those things up. You can literally just do it with a wand filler and then it'll text and then put something else. Yeah. So those types of things, yes, but primarily is like language and then back end business stuff that applies to all businesses.
Okay. All right. Look, I think I gotta digest this for a minute. So I think it's going to be good for us to take a little break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk social media in our sidebar. And then look at this. We're going to talk about exactly what you're going to be doing on stage at PMRE. And then at the end, oh man, you know it. You know what's coming. Action items. All right. Jenna, we'll be right back. Chelsea, other than Mark and my personalities, what do you think our customers love most about our business? And well, you, of course, they love you.
And me.
Well, Nikki
I
and
would
Marco
say Aerial.
Oh, there you go. I think we all know, if anyone has ever used Aereo, you know that your customers will love it because it's easy for them. And again, we are talking about, realtors, not always the brightest people in the whole world. Some are, anyone listening to this is one of those smart realtors, but even they can figure it out. For the most part, they can all download their photos really easily, can't they?
Yeah, I think they can. It's laid out very simplistically and easy, and everything they need is right there. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. And then of course on our back end, it just makes things so much more efficient because we can do so many different things in Aereo. If you want to run your business more efficiently, who doesn't want to do that? I really encourage you to check out Aereo. You can go to aereo.com, and if you use the code Upmarket, you're going to get 15 free bonus listings. I mean, that's a lot of listings. Big companies like ours, I mean, we shoot that in a day, like all the time. Half a day, maybe. Yeah. Half a day, yeah. But for other people, it could be a month. That could be a month of shoots. So if you're just starting out in the business, that could be a month of shoots, and you know what? That's going to be free to you, and it's going to be pretty great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Exactly. We've had this partnership now with Second Floor app for quite a while, on this podcast. Loyal advertisers. We love Second Floor app. And you know who's behind it. Adam Housley. Great guy. Innovator. A true innovator.
Big time. We love connecting with him at PMRE. He's great.
I know. Yeah. He's great. But you know what I want to do? You know what I want to see from that guy? I want to see a floor plan of his dang house. I think he's just putting all this stuff out there. And is he showing us floor plans of where he lives? I don't think he's done it yet. What is he hiding, Mark? What is he hiding?
Maybe he's in a big Alabama mansion somewhere hiding out. We need to see that.
That's kind of what I think with all the revenue that he's been getting from our referrals to Second Floor app. But look, regardless of what Adam Housley's house looks like, you're going to be able to show any realtor what any house looks like if you use Second Floor app to very quickly make a floor plan. You can just take out your phone, scan, turn the dang app on, walk around, scan the place. It's going to take you like 5 minutes on a normal size home. And then boom, instantly floor plan.
You see it, you make it, it's done.
That's accurate. And you can even deliver it to your client, which I keep harping on it, but that is such an amazing upsell to be like, you can have an instant floor plan and you got to pay X amount, $5, $100.
Yeah.
$72.
Let's go more than 5. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah. Do more than 5. I mean, I don't know. But Second Floor app. So and if you want to go to their website, it's all spelled out. It's secondfloorapp.com. And then look, if you add a slash and an Upmarket after that, it's going to take you to somewhere where you can get a free month of service on Second Floor. How many floor plans how many 5 minutes are there in a whole month? Because every 5 minutes you can be making a floor plan.
Yeah. Hundreds, man. Hundreds. Crazy.
So you can do hundreds and hundreds of floor plans if you go to secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. Social media sidebar. Come on, rate, review, subscribe to this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go to our YouTube channel. You can see like Jenna's got a really cool backdrop. I have a really cool backdrop and, very handsome. So I think it's really worth tuning in on YouTube. And Jenna was laughing because she disagrees with me.
No.
That's okay. That's all right. And then of course we are Upmarket Pod across all social media. And Jenna, where can we find you?
AI4interiordesigners.com and also on Instagram. And I started Facebook, but I'm, not really there that much anymore. And also
no one does any
first
Facebook.
And last name. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jenna Gaduzik is also my handle for pretty much everything else.
Okay, great. And then, so we were talking about Instagram a little bit earlier. And so the two things that I wanted to follow up on that is that you're generating, you said 30 hashtags, right? And so I've also heard that you don't want to put 30 hashtags on your photos in Instagram because the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. It should be 5 hashtags or 3 or whatever. And I'm sure that changes all the time, but the information I have, which is probably from 3 or 4 years ago, is like that many hashtags is actually not helpful. Mm-hmm. And so are you using all 30?
No, but some of them are like just total duds. So I take them out, but I want 30 so that I can pick through them.
Okay. So you're just like physically picking, but don't you don't use like, I feel like in real estate photography, I don't know, have like 5 that we would use. Like I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Like because actually when I post on Instagram for Upmarket Pod, then if I ever hashtag anything, I'm just trying to reach real estate photographers. And when we're doing, when our flagship Upmarket Instagram account, we're trying to reach realtors. So I think those hashtags are going to be very different. And so I never deal with that. So I guess, I don't know, but there's not like just kind of the same hashtags you want to use over and over again because you're in that same kind of space.
Yes. So those are saved to my clipboard in my text box on my phone. So I have like my core ones, AI for interior designers, those hashtags, but then, and then my local ones, but then the other ones I'm sorting through because they're so relevant to the image that it's posting.
Mm-hmm. And so when you are posting that image, why are you putting a different hashtag on it? Who different are you trying to reach for that?
Yeah. So mine's a little different, and also the interior designers that would be doing this are a little bit different too than photographers in the real estate industry, because my style is what I'm trying to convey to also get clients. So while I am posting generative images to say, hey, designers, this is an option for you, and you can be using generative AI, and here's how you can do it. I also use my Instagram to get design clients too. So if I post a generative kitchen that I did, first of all, I'm saying it's an AI kitchen. Here's why I made this kitchen for this client's project. And then the hashtags could be coastal kitchen, blue cabinets, marble backsplash. Those things are being searched by homeowners and not necessarily the designers. So for me, it's twofold. I am talking to two different audiences, but for the designers that use this hashtag, they're uploading a picture, they're using their hyper local hashtags, any other relevant hashtags, and then this is pulling what it sees so that if those items are searched through hashtags or other search features through Instagram, it's also pulling those too.
Okay. And then then the other thing that you mentioned, which sent a chill down my spine, because I've never even heard about this, and maybe I haven't, I just don't realize it. But what the hell is alt text? You said it generates alt text for your photos. What the heck is that?
Oh my gosh, I'm honestly surprised because
I know, because I seem very smart. Yeah.
You are so smart. I'm surprised because the photography industry, like if you have a website, you have alt text behind your image. And really this is an ADA compliance. So it can read what the image is and visually describe to somebody that might be impaired what they're seeing. So that's what alt text has always been about. However, it's also SEO optimization. So search engine optimization, where if you put behind your images on Instagram, on your website, on Pinterest, whatever platform, and you're visually describing what it's seeing, then that's also pulling in search results in other engines because it's associating the words behind the image. Google's not searching. If you search on Google for a modern blue cabinet kitchen, it's not searching the images, it's searching the text behind the images. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I do. Okay. I do know about that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's on our website. I don't know. I don't deal with that stuff. So I'll have to ask Mark. He's more in tune with that, because I don't remember ever writing alt text for any of these images. So, I don't know.
It's miserable.
Well, yeah. Oh, no. I mean, all writing is miserable. I'm a screenwriter. My God, it's horrendous. But then on Instagram, where do you put the alt text?
So before you post, there's like another button that pops down and it says, do you want to add more information, like advanced settings? And it's right there. You just put it in the line behind the image, not behind your reels and videos, but behind the carousel posts or static images. Okay. And why aren't we doing that on videos? Just not there. It's not available.
Well, there you go. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then are you finding, that are you generating a lot of business from social media?
I am. Yeah. Since I challenged myself to do this this year, that's how people find me, is on Instagram.
Sure. All right. And how are you, how are you finding the time to do all this, right? Because you're in this AI space teaching and, going to conferences and stuff. And then it sounds like you got a pretty busy interior design practice as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And two small kids. Oh, all right. Yeah. Wow. Okay. You're insane. Yeah. All right. So no wonder you're using AI. You gotta,
that's why.
You need help. You need as much help as possible. All right. Well, so I want to talk a lot more about all this stuff, but we'll take another quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about PMRE a little bit. And then we are also going to end this sucker with some action items. Okay, iGUIDE. Oh, and look at this. I got Skylar Lawrence LaBelle here from iGUIDE. One of the things I've noticed in working with iGUIDE, we just did, recently that tour to PMRE sweepstakes. And so I've been, talking to you really since last PMRE and kind of dealing with some of your team, is that your customer, not that, this is a customer service role, but your team is so on it. It's been such a joy to work with you guys. And I've heard from so many other people who are iGUIDE users that they love working with iGUIDE because of the customer service. Do you have a whole team for that?
We do, and actually, it's something that we focus on. I think it's important for us here at iGUIDE that there's a human behind the company, there's a face behind the company. We have a customer success and a product support line, so a phone number you can actually call and get a real person on the other end, which photographers love. You're in the field, something goes wrong, give us a call, and we can actually troubleshoot while you're still on site.
Wow. No, that's cool.
Yeah. So it is something that is important to us and something that Tour to PMRE
Right.
was really around that also, giving back to, real estate photographers and many of our iGUIDE operators. Near and dear to my heart and something that we stand for here at iGUIDE.
All right. Oh, cool. So if you call that customer support line, is it just with iGUIDE or can you help with some other, like I have a lot of problems and
the team will limit it to iGUIDE. I mean, I have a different number that I can give you, Reed, for your other problems. But
okay. All right. Okay. When we're off air, please give me that number. All right. So good. So if you want to be in on all this customer service fun, go to goiguide.com. Check it out. You can order a camera, order a system, become a user. I'm sure, take a tour of it and chat with the people there. So Skylar, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Go to goiguide.com. Jenna Gaduzek, we are getting close here. PMRE is coming. We are recording this in October, so it is coming up. And look, and I'm sure you know this, you can still get tickets. You can still come. It is not too late. Use the code Upmarket100 at PMREconference.com and you're going to get $100 off your registration. My God, come. You want to come and meet Jenna in person. So Jenna, you're going to be out there. Hopefully you're leaving the small kids behind and you're coming out to Las Vegas ready to party. But I know you are going to be on the main stage. You are going to be going for a whole hour. So what I'm assuming you're talking about AI. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Can you go into a little bit about what you're going to talk about? Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to go more in depth into what we've kind of discussed today. And it's that back end stuff. I'm not here to help you take better pictures. I'm not here to help you edit your pictures. I'm here to help you run your business more efficiently and just show you some of the tools that are out there for the back end processes. So I'll be covering things like ChatGPT, what custom GPTs can do, the power of transcripts, and then a few other things to just help you with social media and scheduling and just kind of getting on top of your business as a whole.
Okay. And so, but you're going to give really actionable, they're like, you can do this shit, right? Yeah.
That's the only way I teach.
All right. And then you'll be out there, and you haven't been to PMRE before, I'm sure, but it's very social. There's a lot of networking that happens. And I'm sure, how long are you going to be out there for?
I have to book my ticket today, so
all right.
Time. Yeah.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, because for anyone who hasn't been, there's always opportunity to be able to come up to the presenters at some point during the week and have a conversation if you want and get some more helpful hints. So, are you going to have are you going to have AI write any of your presentation for you?
No. So I love that question because I might have AI edit my presentation because I'm terrible with grammar and I'm a terrible speller, but I do not have AI ever write my intellectual property and outlines because I know what I want to talk about and it can fix my spelling and my grammar for me. But aside from actually building presentations with AI, I think they need to be done by a human.
Right. Well, and you get to a certain point too, where it's like, if you're trying to create, intellectual property and you're using AI, that might not be your intellectual property because it's actually been, so I think you do have to be careful about that, right? Because if that's the thing is if you make a short film using AI, you don't own the copyright on that. So yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So spelling grammar, yeah, right, because you're going to have slides, you're going to have the whole deal. So AI will just do grammar, we'll just do that. So but can AI book your plane flight for you?
I don't trust it yet.
Oh, okay.
I've heard it can, and there are tools that do it. And Kayak actually has its own GPT inside of ChatGPT to help you to plan your stuff. But I'm not there yet. I still want to figure this out. Right,
because you're gonna have you'll have a layover in Minneapolis for 7 hours, right? I think so. Because they're like, oh, you want to see the Northern Lights? They've been happening. They've been down a little bit. You live in the South, so you got to see those things. And so, are you? you like, have you been doing this a lot? Have you been kind of speaking at events, and like, how the heck are you getting to be like the expert in this? I mean, it's just kind of putting yourself out there and just like having a winning, charismatic personality.
I guess. No, it's kind of a long story. Well, I'll nutshell it. So I started with virtual interior design in 2015 when I left my job in the corporate industry, working in Manhattan. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was 24. I was managing multi-million-dollar showrooms. And I was like, this is awful. I'm not designing. I'm not doing my degree. I have always been in love with rendering. I was a Sims girl back in the day, growing up in the 90s. So, building all those houses and then turning it into a career. But the pivotal point for me was when I was living in New York City in 2015, when I left my job to be able to pursue e-design exclusively. So virtual design. And 2 years later, it was very lonely. So I started a community called E-Design Tribe, which was acquired in 2022 by Mydoma Studio, which is a project management software, because I had built up a rendering platform as well as other educational tools called eDesign U. So it was all classes, courses for interior designers to be able to use this pre-COVID. And then when COVID hit, it just blew up.
Boom. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so the group got to be about 5,000 designers and they're all wanting to learn how to do this. So technology and design and education have always been my passion. It's always been what I wanted to do. So after selling, I was still teaching and getting back to my actual clients, because you can't really do that as much when you're building a platform. So I was able to start dabbling more in all the AI apps that were coming out, like, early on, and then started sharing all those on my Instagram and like the downfalls and like the issues and all that stuff, and kind of making fun of it, but also being fully aware that like this is coming and I'm going to show you as it goes. So last year, this time last year is when I launched my first class, and it was all about Midjourney for interior designers. And then from there, it's just evolved to so many different classes and programs and travel everywhere.
Right. Well, and then, so do you currently have like a community? I mean, are you still in the whatever it was called?
Tribe,
the E-Design Tribe. Are you still a member of the tribe?
I am a member, but I don't like Facebook, and it was on Facebook.
Oh, it's a Facebook based.
So,
yeah.
And so when they acquired it, that was kind of like, that's what I wanted. I was like, take this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm waiting for someone to acquire Upmarket Media. So,
perfect.
Well, then, but really, are you really just kind of moving to focus on the business side of AI, or are you still doing, the generative stuff for interior design as well? Yeah, all of it.
Yep, all of it. Mm-hmm.
I love to ask the tough, unknowable questions. So, so please answer it.
Have you seen Tesla's robots that just came out?
Oh yeah, aren't they? It's just a person in a suit behind the wall, and they're just doing it. Yeah, it's really great. Really, I think this is really going to be useful. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like in all reality, like LG actually does have little house robots. I saw them at the Kitchen and Bath Show in Vegas this year. So like there will be little helpers, little robots. They're already here in our house. So like they can clean, they can tell you like who's at the door, they can order stuff for you. That exists now. So like little house helpers, like the Jetsons, I think that's going to be happening, and they're going to be affordable in 5 years. Not like the big robots. I'm sure those will be around, but these are just like little guys that can help you with household like tasks and maintaining your home. As far as like the online world of AI and generative AI, we're going to see a lot of legislation. We're going to see a lot of people get taken down for doing bad things with these tools. But I think in the end, we're going to see a whole new boom of different types of jobs that are created from AI. Like, yes, it's going to take some jobs. It just is. And it's unfortunate, but jobs always evolve and they always get better with technology. So we're going to see a whole new boom. We're going to see people that are like building custom agents or GPTs to help businesses delegate tasks and make their employees work more at a higher, more optimal level. So there's a lot. I can't see the future, but I think that it's all good things.
Wow, that's a rosy. That's a very optimistic.
Most good
Well, you did say all good things. I don't know if I'm quite there, because you know what? In 5 years, I think there's going to be a deep fake of the Upmarket podcast, and that's going to be bad for everybody. They're going to make me say some truly outrageous things, because I would never say anything outrageous. I don't have it in my DNA. So
Sooner than 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Have it fast.
And what are you when you think about the future of AI? I mean, what are your plans? What are you most excited about when it comes to this stuff? And where you kind of see it going?
The efficiency and the elevation of creativity. So for me, like being able to generate images or like just turn, my grammar into something that's better and well written, because I'm not good at that. Optimizing my existing strengths and being able to think outside the box more. That's what I'm most excited about.
Well, and are you concerned with, all the talk, well, what's it going to be in 5 years? Will we be able to actually generate enough power to power all of this AI, right? Because I know, and I mentioned in the podcast before, I've heard that, one prompt in ChatGPT is like pouring a 12-ounce glass of water onto the ground, right? So it's like, and I think people can get all up in arms about that stuff and, get on Twitter and, but at the same time, it's like, that's freaking real, right? And it's like, how are we, if we're using, and now every time you do a Google search, that does a Gemini thing at the top of it, right? So I don't know, man. It just seems like, I don't know how we're going to do it, right? Do you?
Yeah, I know. No, hopefully AI does. But that is terrifying. It's definitely a reality of this. And what I have been reading is that, nuclear could be coming back and like really making an appearance for this because of how much it can, produce and help. But I've also read articles where AI has started to correct itself and find solutions for this issue itself. So,
yeah, it doesn't seem scary at all.
We're just gonna have to see. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, once AI starts correcting itself, okay, here we go. I know. I'm not going to bring up any Skynet references, but what are you going to do? Watch Terminator 2, and then you can see where we're on. Yeah. And I would hope that also, things become more energy efficient as time goes on. Right. So hopefully it won't take as much computing power. I don't know. Right. Whatever. I'm not a tech person. I don't know. Why am I even talking about this kind of stuff here? Okay. So look, and I definitely think that to solve that problem, we're all going to have to take action. And so I think that means it is time for action items, which, are sponsored by Pixel CRM. Pixel CRM is the only CRM out there that was designed by a real estate photographer for real estate media professionals. We've been using Pixel CRM, and it's been great. And we still, and I think one of our summer projects is going to be diving more into Pixel CRM and having it do more for us. Yeah. But already all the stuff it does, we're doing our mailing list, we're doing the reviews, we're doing a few other things. I mean, it's been really fantastic. So go to pixelcrm.com/upmarket and you are going to get a risk-free 30-day trial. Pretty exciting. On, people. Yeah. The one thing about pixelcrm.com, it's pixlcrm.com. There's no E. Mm-hmm.
It's the hip pixel.
It's the hip pixel. Pixelcrm.com. And so I'm going to go. Sometimes I like to go first because I know that my guests' one is going to be better than mine. And this is one of those times. So mine is actually, I do think it is worth, as a real estate media professional, to at least get onto ChatGPT and do a couple prompts, kind of play around with it and, pour out a few glasses of water onto the ground, so to speak, and do a few prompts and kind of get a feel for what it can do. And I'm not even like action iteming that you need to use it, but I do think being aware of what it can do, good or bad, or however you feel about it, is worth doing. So do a prompt on ChatGPT about your business. That's what I say.
I love that.
Oh,
that was one of my first ones.
All right. Okay, Jenna, you got an action item, and please disclaim if AI has helped you generate this action item, if that has happened. Okay, it hasn't. Okay, no disclaimer. Yep. All right.
So it kind of piggybacks on yours, where
Okay,
you're
good.
saying, go into ChatGPT and just ask it a business question. But I'm going to take it one step further and say, get the ChatGPT app, because the app has the new voice feature. So when you open the app and you're in your Pro account, I'm actually not positive if this is on free because everything I do is on Pro.
Sure.
So when you open the app, you now have access to like a realistic conversation voice. So you open it up, you start a conversation at the bottom, and then you're going to see like little headphones. That's where it's either headphones or like 3 little lines. They keep changing it on me, but it's in the bottom right. It activates the voice mode. And then on your phone, you have a conversation where like you can interrupt it, and it gives you very human results and answers, like you're just chatting with a friend. So if you wanted to just like, if you're out for a walk, start brainstorming ideas for your next marketing strategy, it's like talking to a friend on a phone.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. My new friend, my new AI friend, because I can't hold on to my real one. So that's what I'm going to do. Jenna, thank you very, very much. I'm very excited to meet you in person in Las Vegas in a few weeks. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. And I really appreciate our listeners taking the time always to listen. And we really appreciate you all, because without you, we would be nothing. So Jenna, thanks again.
Thank you, Reed. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back very shortly with a new episode, everyone. Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.